Hi guys, so today we're going to cover a technique called the YYB or the YBY. It's the two different names for the same technique. I'll explain kind of the subtle nuance in why there are two names for it later, but this video is just going to cover both how to do it, a few variations, and then some of the more common applications for this technique. Okay, so how to do it. First, you're going to be running, you do an attack, and then out of your attack, you'll do a jump kick, like that. And that's done by pressing the attack and jump button at the same time. So this is what is referred to as the YBY, which actually comes from the Wii U inputs. That's where the name originates. The YYB is essentially the same thing, but it refers to doing more of an extended YBY. So you can do the actual jump kick motion at much later points in the dash motion than just the beginning. And so when you're doing extended YBYs, it's more commonly referred to as a YYB. Alright, here in the pits, our pit speed challenges specifically, it's pretty common to encounter a YYB at the beginning, or YBY. This is really just a YBY. It's the as fast as you can to get the jump kick off. But essentially, the YBY is a lower jump than any other option, so it gets you falling faster, and so it saves a few frames. And can be quite useful here at the beginning of pit speed challenges. So there's a few variations on the YBY that can be quite useful. And basically you can change directions during a YBY in order to get different results. So instead of just doing right here, we're going left, we do a YBY left. So here we're going right. If we do a YBY left now, so we switch directions from right to, or left to right in that case, from right to left in this case. You do the attack, and then you switch directions, and then you do the jump kick. And so here we get it backwards, slashing YBY. That's not very useful, but the other variations, so a down, actually just down really is the useful variation. Up isn't very useful. So there's actually a fifth variation that we can't do here in the train or in the overworld. It requires you to have an object to break in order to execute it. So we're gonna head over to a challenge to try it out. So here on this brick, I'm going to show off a YBY back that's slightly different from the backwards YBY that I showed earlier. Here we have an object to attack through, and so when done properly, this will allow me to completely reverse my momentum backwards, and it can be pretty useful, like not so much in the challenges, but in the main levels themselves. It's even more useful. I know in this spot, if you have Glowbox, you're going to be in good shape. I have the Princess, so it doesn't really demonstrate exactly how good this is, but at the same time, like I hope you can see that it's still useful. So here in this dojo challenge, we're going to have a nifty little thing on this brick right here. So basically, this final variation allows you to get a much larger jump attack in the reverse direction. And so we're going to do, instead of holding left, we're going to do up and left. Because I'm going to dash right and do the YBY left up in order to get an interesting result. So as you've hopefully seen, this final version of the YBY is quite useful. It at least has quite an interesting effect. There's a number of places in the dojo where it can be potentially used, as well as in main levels for speedrunning and whatnot else. Um, I'm just trying to leave this one here, and hopefully we can see where it ends up being used, because it's quite interesting. There's another technique. We go to There's another. This is more of a useless technique that I'd come up with at one point, but it turns out that the YYB also happens to function similarly. So you can do a charge punch, and you get this effect, but it also happens to be if you come out of an attack on an object, you get that same effect. So that's essentially what you were seeing, is by doing that dash into an object, you get this motion that you can do out of it. Uh, so there's other things that you can do with the YBY that I'm not going to cover in this video. Specifically the YBY down. It's one of the ways to do what we call flop, and I'm going to probably try and do a whole nother video on flop. At least just one video, maybe more, who knows. Depends on how in depth I feel like getting at the time. And then the other one is YBYs out of rolls. You can do a YBY to keep your momentum, but I'll probably want to cover that kind of topic after I've at least done like an introductory break boosting video, or maybe in another video for just keeping momentum. So that's going to be all for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them at the bottom, and hopefully I can provide a sufficient answer. But thanks for watching, and you'll have a nice day.